Welcome, 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 welcome. I am so excited to be here today. Welcome to Straight Outta Savannah with my guest, Heather Eck. She is going to share with you who she is and what it is that she can do for you. So, Heather, take it away.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to connect with you. My name's Heather Eck. I'm a visual artist based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. I can see and sense color around people, and I make paintings called spirit portraits that offer you healing and balance and support based on the color energy that I see or read in your chakra centers. So I've been painting now full time since the end of 2019, and it's been a really incredible experience to go from corporate human resources into, full-time artist with a spiritual angle.
That is amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing because I actually have had somebody to do something like that for me.
Oh, I love it. Did you have your aura read?
I did. I did the picture one where they take
Mhm.
a picture of you and all that. And then of course I had other people do it. And then I laughed because I used to read auras as well, but I read them in a different way. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But I
yeah.
love the pictures, that people draw. Like I had a girl,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I'm wondering what I did with that picture. But it was so cute. And she drew it and it was like my colors and it was more than one, which I thought was so neat.
Oh, yeah.
You know
That
what I mean?
happens to me sometimes too. I'd love to know how you see aura. How do you experience it?
I just, I just see it. Like I look
Okay.
at people and I just it's almost like, it feels like I'm visualizing a color on them.
Hmm.
Like I can almost like how clairvoyance works for me.
Yeah, like you see it in your mind's eye.
Yes, I can see it
Yeah.
like, okay, and then I look at people, and then the thing that I tell them too is that aura is fluid. It's like blood pressure. It
Yep.
could be bright pink right now, and then, tomorrow it could be black or gray or yellow or whatever. In 20
Yep.
minutes, it can be, something different. Depends on your emotions and your moods and how your chakras are, in alignment, all of those things. I said, and it's fluid though.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, but so and so said my aura was red. I said, well, when was that? Yesterday? Okay, well, yesterday is a different day.
Right. Right.
Today is
Exactly.
another day. You know what I mean? I said, it's like if you take your blood pressure right now and you're in a nice peaceful state, your blood pressure might be good. I said, but you get upset, something's going on, whatever, you go running or something like that. I said, and then it's a whole different thing. Same thing.
Yeah.
So
Same.
let's get into how you got here because that is the thing. I love to have people share their origin stories. And when I say origin stories, I mean the origin of you awakening and coming from, that place to this one. So let's get started with that.
Awesome. Well, I mentioned in 2019 I left corporate to pursue artwork full time, and it was because I had moved from New York down to North Carolina a few years before, and I've always been a spiritual person. That's been with me since I was a little kid, like very young. I would go into the library and look for books about the Bible and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I was like 10. Like, who's interested in that stuff at that age? But it was me. I loved learning about all of it. So I was here in North Carolina. I was doing human resources, and I was wiped out. I was burnt out, like the kind of situation where like no amount of time off was going to make me feel better. I was just
Absolutely.
out. And I started working with a spiritual teacher. And I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear my dog is losing his mind right now. Can you hear it?
Not anymore.
Okay, okay. Sorry about that. I was working with a spiritual teacher and we were kind of trying to figure out like what's my purpose? What's my gift? What am I here for? And at the time I had gotten my certification in coaching. And
Yeah.
so I was looking for something. I was seeking something all over the place.
Yes.
And I said to her, I'm a coach. And she said, No, you're not. I said, No, but I am. And I did Reiki and I got this and I did that. And she was like, No. I was like, Well, then what is it? She said, What were you like as a kid? And I literally had to go back in time and look at myself as a young person. And I was into art. I was into color. I was into music. I played guitar. I was doing chorus. I did drama. Like creative expression was just part of my life. And when we talked about art, it suddenly was like a light bulb went off and I went, "Oh my God, that's it. That's it for me." And I went to the art supply store and bought supplies. And then it was like once I acknowledged that, the floodgates started to open and I was suddenly aware, "Oh my gosh, I can see color around that person." Or I meet somebody and I instantly know what color their aura is. Or I'm sitting down and reading your energy centers and I can tell you where you're feeling stuck. And it was like, I just needed to acknowledge it. And then God said, "Okay, now you're ready." And
Yes,
within a couple of years, I had my first art show. So it happened very quickly once I said yes.
that is so awesome. That see, I have to highlight that too. So for those watching or listening, I have to highlight that because, it really took her making the decision and for all of us woo-woo people, setting the intention.
Yep.
And then the floodgates open, and then she started getting the downloads, and she started seeing all the possibilities and all of that. And that to me is huge and miraculous. And to be honest with you, these are the things that you can share with people. You know what I mean? Because it'll help to open them up. Because just like you said, she said something, she tapped into something. She went into what she used to love to do as a child, the things that you love. And that
Yep.
is so huge, you know?
That's where it is. That's, yeah. Yeah. That's where the secret is, I think, for a lot of people who feel stuck and don't know what they're here to do. I
Yeah.
think, and I've learned this from my teacher too, a lot of our gifts show up for us when we're kids.
Yes.
And it's because it comes innately to us and
Yes.
it's part of who we are, and we haven't yet shut it down.
Yes.
And I think if you're feeling stuck, like go back and look at who were you as a kid? What were your curiosities? What were you into? Because I bet you there's a little nugget in that experience as a child that actually supports what you could be doing here in your spiritual purpose and your spiritual gift.
Yes. Yes. That is, yes. 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 I would say in the social media world, 100%.
That's my favorite way to respond. 100%.
Like, yes, because I thought about it, and as we were talking in the green room, we were talking about, I was sharing, my core values and ideals. And, one major one for me is fun. Like, I need fun in every area of my life. My husband and I, we laugh so much. We laughed so much that one of our children got mad because we were laughing at them, but they were funny. So,
I love it.
oh my gosh. So, share a little bit about, what you came from. Did you come out of deep religion? Did you come from a space where you had to learn how to open up to all the things of God? How did that work for you?
Well, that's a really great question. I grew up Methodist. I think my mom and dad, we would go to church every now and again, and I would go to vacation Bible school when I was little. But I had a lot of friends in different religions, and I would ask to go with them to their church services. I went to synagogue, I went to a Catholic church. I've gone all over, and I think I was just sort of seeking God from a really young age.
Yes.
But I also had this like deep curiosity about astrology, and my favorite book to read was like The Mysteries of the Unexplained. Like I was just always into like weird things that a kid probably shouldn't be into, but I kind of came on and off the spiritual path many times throughout my life, but now I think towards the end of my 30s, early 40s is when I really started to commit to becoming a student of the Bible, to really developing a relationship with God,
Yeah.
to tapping into that conversation with God every day,
Yeah.
and trying to be led, and make no decisions, but to let let God and Holy Spirit guide my day and my steps. And so it's a little bit odd, I think, because I'm a follower of Jesus. I read the Bible, but I also play in this space of the chakras and of energy centers and of intuition. And so it's a bit of a merge between
Yes.
those beliefs, I guess. But for me, they're all one and the same.
Yes.
And I'm, able to use them however God wants me to, as long as I listen.
That is so powerful. And that's exactly, you and I have that in common. I feel such a connection. I love God and I feel such a deep, deep connection with Jesus. And I know that I've spent a past life with him.
Mm,
And I felt this for years and years and years. But I love to play in the chakras, and I'm a student of metaphysics and
hmm.
all of this. And so a friend of mine told me that that was called being a Christian mystic.
Oh,
I said,
I got little chills on my head when you said that. I love that.
right? It's like, oh, they were like, yeah, like Florence Scovel Shinn and and Brother Neville Goddard, and I was like, ah, and really in Reverend Ike even, it's like, oh, okay,
Okay.
I can work with that.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
thank you
said,
for saying that. I love that.
yeah, I mean it almost was like a freedom for me, because I was like,
Yeah.
because I was feeling this confliction, because in the church they told us that astrology, all these things that we do is all that stuff is of the devil, and we're going to hell and all this, and and even though you come out of it and you move to a place where you're more understanding and you're more open to all of these things, because these are all things of God, you're open to these things, but there's a little piece in you where, they indoctrinated this stuff back here.
Hmm.
And it's there, like it took me years to really be able to read the tarot. Like I do oracle
Oh, yeah.
cards all day long and every day and all day. But the tarot was something about the tarot because they told us that was, of the devil and we were going to hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's amazing how they take so many things and put these conditions on them for us. And so then here we are. And some of the stuff, because I look at things, I'm like, man, if I had known some of these things when I was younger, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, like I
Yep.
look at the young people that I've interviewed a young girl, she was 27, amazing, beautiful spirit. I mean, she's going to change the world. And this is what I told her. I said, you're going to change the world, honey. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to have you on my couch, but I love it. I see them because they're so open and, it's like, my God, and I'm like,
Hmm.
man, where would I be now if I had come into that at 27?
Right.
You know?
Right. I totally get that. I totally get that. I think about that a lot because I'm in my mid 40s and there are times where I'm like, gosh, I spent so much time in corporate. What would my life have been like had I pursued art when art was there for me, you know?
Yes.
But Moses was on the side of a mountain for 40 years. So I feel like I was just on the side of a mountain for a long time getting prepared because nothing has been wasted.
No.
All the time that I spent in corporate has prepared me to run a business today.
Yes.
Everything that I learned set me up for where I am today. So God's efficient. And I feel like, he knew when the time was right. And that time just happened to be back, a couple of years ago when I finally said, okay, and showed a little willingness to, dip my toe in the water and say, okay, here I am, lead me. But until then, I wasn't ready. And so I stayed on the side of the mountain for a while.
That's important. That was important. And I'm glad you brought that up because that is something that, y'all, if y'all are listening or watching, I'm telling you, this is absolutely how this thing can work for us. It's like you're over here because like I even with my husband now, I think sometimes why couldn't I have met him 30 years ago?
Hmm.
Why? But then I think because I wasn't ready
Yeah.
and he probably wasn't either. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So now, the space we're in now, we were ready for each other, and
Yeah.
and 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 again, same thing about the wasting time. It's like, no, I actually had to correct a young lady. She was 70 some. So she was talking about how she had wasted 20 some years with her ex-husband. And I said, well, wait a minute, but did you have children with him? She said, yeah. I said, well, then it's not wasted.
Hmm.
I said, and besides, I said, it's only wasted if that is how you look at it. I said,
Yeah.
because here's the thing. I said, I don't believe anything is wasted and I don't believe in regret. I said, because you know why? These things help me to get to where I am.
Hmm.
Things help me to, move the things out of the way or whatever, whatever I needed. I said, these things helped. I said, so you have
Yep.
to look at it in that way. It's not wasted, you know?
Yeah. I mean, just like what you were saying in the green room too, how, you look back over that experience and you go, holy moly, how did I survive that? How did I get through that? What was happening then? But that becomes part of your story and part of your testimony. That is the thing that helped you build character. And if you look back over at your life, you look at these big arcs of things that have happened
Mm.
and you really just give it the space that it needs. There's so much rich knowledge in there that you can apply today where you go, oh, I've been through this before. It just looked like this, but it's
Yes,
going to help me today, you know?
yes, yes. That is so, ooh. In the church, I would throw you some money. But that's what it looks like. It's like, okay, I've been through this, or I've seen this before.
Hmm.
Or maybe sometimes, maybe I've worked with somebody, and sometimes it's not even in the way like I always think about it as like it's not in the way that you had like clients. Maybe somebody came to you, or maybe it was a friend that came and said, you know what, I'm going through this. And you were able to help them to
Yeah.
shift and see something different. And this is what I say, because I'm like, for me, all my life has been that. People have always come to me for guidance about things. And a lot of times they were older people,
Mm.
because I actually asked God one day, I said, why did I have to go through so much so young? Why? You know? And it was crazy. This particular day, I didn't hear anything at all. And I'm hella clairaudient, so I hear God all the time. I said, and finally one day, it was a couple days later, I heard it's not about you. And I was
Oh,
like,
oh, that just gave me chills again too. I think that's so true, right? Like it's everything is for us, but it's not always about us. And so I think part of why we go through what we go through is because we're meant to help people. Like we're meant to stick our hand back there and go,
"Mhm,
come on, keep
yes,
going. Like we
yes,
we can do this together.
yes.
Um, that's that's where the healing is. We're meant to collaborate like that.
Yes. And a lot of times we don't, we don't often accept it. You know what I mean? And the thing is I think of it even in places like I went in the store. I was in the store before I came on, and we were in Costco. And so when I go in, I'm always really kind to people because I know that so many people are so hateful, especially
Hmm.
the people that work in these places and stuff. And I'm like, no, and I go and I'm like, hey, how you doing? How's your day going?
Yeah.
And I never know how that has shifted their day, maybe, or they'll say something like this. They'll say, well, how you doing? I'm like, you know what? I am so good, and I'm so good. And the thing is I used to do it and didn't mean it,
Mm.
but now I do it and I mean it.
Oh, I love
I'm
that.
so serious about it. It's like, no, and I'll stand there and wait till they tell me how they're doing.
Hmm.
I'm like, no, I'm serious. How are you doing today? How is everything? I said, because I know that it's a lot of polarization out here in the world and there's so much craziness and all this stuff with the government and all that stuff. I was like,
Hmm.
people are upset, they're mad, they're scared. I was like, and I understand that. I said, but I'm gonna be a light,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because that's why I'm here. I'm like,
Right. Right.
not about me.
I know that's so important. Just that little kindness can change somebody's whole day. Yeah.
It really is like, and I tell people, I'm like, it doesn't cost you anything. It's free.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
tapping on TikTok. Just tap. Free.
Just like it.
Mhm. Like it. Show me some love, It's free. I
I
promise you. Not gonna charge you.
That is so true.
All right, so let's go into, I really want to get into the nitty gritty of, you know, when you started creating this art. Did you start like did it happen for you where you started just seeing the auras and then you said, okay, this is what it looks like to me, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I noticed people's energies coming into my office, and when I worked in human resources at the time, people would come in and ask questions about their benefits or what have you, and they'd stand against the white wall and then I would see their aura. And I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this is kind of weird," you know? Um, and then it was like I just started to kind of understand what was happening with somebody. Like I discovered and I was told too that I'm like strongly clairsentient. So I feel people's energies and I kind of feel where they are emotionally. I'm not an empath. I don't take it on, thankfully. But I kind of know I can walk into a room and go, this is a grouchy conversation, you know, or this person's great, or and then I also have something called synesthesia, which is where my senses get crossed in my brain. So when I listen to music, when I taste something or smell something, in my mind's eye, I see it as choreography or color and movement. And so I'll experience somebody's energy as prickly or soft or spiky or round. And so I started to kind of
That's
get a quick
interesting.
impression of somebody, you know, like, oh, wow, your colors are green, pink, and blue. And those will tell me well, you are somebody who sits in the heart space or you spend a lot of time in your throat. And then started doing paintings for people. And I would write up what their colors meant or what I heard while I was doing their painting or what a particular color meant for them. And so it kind of evolved into something called a spirit portrait for people.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. That's almost exactly the what I did from this girl. It was in this group. It was a huge Facebook group that she had, and I can't even remember it because my whole somebody stole my whole profile that I had like
Oh,
years and years and years. And so I have a new one. So I don't think I got it back even back in some of those groups because I just was like, well, maybe it was time, for a shift and a change. And
mm-hmm.
but it was creative something. I can't remember, but she did this thing where she would offer people in the group. It was a way to help people to get out there. And so she
Uh-huh.
wanted people to offer their services and stuff like that. Like, offer one person or something like that in exchange for a review and all this other kind of stuff. And so
Oh, cool.
it was pretty neat the way she did it. And and I guess it probably would have worked out if the people that wanted your services were actually people that were aligned.
Uh-huh.
And that was
Yeah.
probably one of the issues. Like,
Yeah.
like we were was having a conversation with another healer friend, and I was like, yeah, I was like, people just they want the transformation, but they don't want to do the work,
Yeah.
or
Yep.
and they a lot of times they don't even want to hear about the work.
Yep.
There is work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did. I think she did. That's exactly what she did. It was so nice because
Oh, cool.
she just drew this little thing, and she like we did it on Zoom, I think, and she just
Yeah, that's what I do too. I hop on Zoom and do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty neat. And then she
Oh,
said
that's cool.
you or whatever, and I was like, okay, yeah, yeah. So that
I'll
is
have to try to find them because there's so few of us out there. I think it's like when you
cool.
meet somebody else who can do it, you're like, oh, let's connect.
So
Tell
when
me about your process.
I would look at her thing because I can see her name is Joanne something, but I can't.
Okay.
It's Joanna or I'll have to look and see because I'm not, like I said, I'm not real sure if I'm still connected with her because of all that
Uh-huh.
whole thing. Because the people were like scamming people on my page and stuff. And so
Oh, that's not good.
it was hard for me because I was like, it's not me. I can't control it. I can't do anything about
Mm-hmm.
it. I've already wrote to Facebook and all that, and they did nothing. And so I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah.
People were reaching
Yeah.
out to me and blaming me for I was like, listen, you know me and you know that I don't do dogs. So why would you think I would be selling them? I'm like, you know me. You know I don't do any creatures.
And it's so weird. The hackers are getting so creative.
You're like, they're like, you still have the dogs? I'm like, dogs. I was like, number one, I don't even live down there where we lived. I was like, number two, you know me and you know that I don't do creatures. I was like, my pets are these
Oh yeah.
crystals. I'm like, they have their low maintenance. They still travel. I don't have to crate them or cart them or
Uh-huh. You don't have
let
to
somebody
feed
watch.
them.
Right. Like, no. I was like, no. But yeah. So where do you see this going in the future? Do you see like do you have a vision where would you be interested in guiding like young people with these gifts in this direction? Is that
Yeah,
something that
that's a good question. I think I'm sort of playing with that now and looking at um how to align the work that I do with people and spirit portraits with therapeutic art and with color healing. And so I'm working on putting together a membership called Your Inner Glow Collective, which is all about bringing people together to use color, healing modalities, therapeutic art, and to work on just giving themselves time and space to find balance and healing and spiritual growth. And so I'd love to do that with people. But then I also love to explore larger scale works that are interpretations of different spiritual energies or the Bible or anything else that I feel sort of inspired by and can interpret through, my spiritual gifts and art and color too.
Oh, I love that. That is good. That's amazing. I love that. That's amazing because you know what? It's just a different perspective on it. And
Hmm.
think you pull in the people that are more creative and artistic with that.
Yeah.
It's like I do like I make jewelry. Yeah.
I love those. Yeah, they're so pretty.
Girl, I found these little things in the Dollar Tree. I said,
Oh,
I said, oh, they're cute. And so anyway, but I do, and I infuse them with Reiki energy. It's
Yeah.
just one of those things. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's kind of one of my fun things, you know.
Yeah.
And I think about it too. It's almost like whether I even make a dollar off of them, you know what I mean? And I do sell them sometimes. I said, but that's not why I'm doing it.
Hmm.
I do it because it engages my creativity.
Yeah.
Because I've been, in a career where you can't really be creative. I mean, we kind of have to in some aspects, but it's
Yeah.
not really like a creativity career. And so when I discovered that, it was like, this is something that I can do, for myself to have fun, and
Yeah.
also to create.
Hmm. And that's so healing too. I think people forget how, well, number one, we don't play anymore. I don't think people give themselves playtime at
No,
all. And anything you do for 15, 20 minutes with your hands, whether you're cooking, doodling, playing piano, writing, painting, making jewelry, that calms everything down. It calms the whole body down. And
yes,
people are, if I do workshops and have people come in and sit and just start painting for just a few minutes, their whole energy changes. And it's just because they've given themselves permission to play, to relax, and to create. And you don't have to be, I always say you don't have to share it, sell it, or show it. You just need to make something.
that is so nice. Because as you were talking, I was visualizing like sipping paints for the auras. You know
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think that would just be something phenomenal. It's funny because
Hmm.
I actually had just told my husband, I said, I'm gonna find us a sip and paint and sip to do because I want to do one of those.
Yeah, you should totally do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally do it. It's super relaxing and really fun.
Yes. I mean, I just feel like anything that's gonna open you up to chilling out your nervous system.
Hmm. That's it.
It's like, okay. I had somebody laugh and I said, I tap.
Uh-huh.
I tap, I take the cold shower, all the things, that,
Uh-huh.
but it's like, just like you said, being creative, it's like it unlocks, and I think about it, it's our sacral chakra,
Yeah, that's right.
so being creative is going to enrich that as well. And honestly, I think that it kind of all goes together,
Yeah, I
you know,
agree. I agree. I think that, you said the sacral chakra, that's the place where we store emotion too. So when you're when you're creating anything, you're unblocking emotions that are stuck and you're unblocking, the sensual side of yourself that's here to create and explore and express and just feel. So important.
Yes, 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 yes. That is, oh my God. Yes. All right. So we are going to land this plane, and I have one question that I ask all of my guests, and I have gotten the same answer, I think twice.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But so what if there was anything in the world that you could change? What would that be and why?
Oh my gosh. What a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really have a hard time with people who are not kind. And it drives me crazy because it takes so little effort to just be a good human.
Yeah.
And I can't stand it when people are so full of themselves that they can't see past themselves to see that we are mirrors for each other and that we are literally made in God's image and we are all one and the same. And so I would change the fact I would just love for people to just be kind and
Yeah.
be loving.
Yeah.
That would be a game changer.
Yes. I agree. And that is not one I've gotten before.
Now I need to see like a top hits of what people have said because now
I need to sit down and do that and just start cataloging it
yeah.
because it's crazy. It's like so many things. And like I had one person that said nothing. Matter of fact, that was one of the same answers, two people.
Oh, wow.
They wouldn't change a thing. And I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah. I mean,
Except because
there's
the journey, would be different.
hmm
And I was like,
yeah.
well, you know what? I could see that because I like a lot of time travel stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I know that when you travel in time, if you change one thing, it could have a ripple effect and
The
change.
butterfly effect, right?
Yes.
It'll jam everything up.
Yes. So I was like, okay, I could understand that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
share any last thoughts that you have with the audience and also share where the best place that they can connect with you and all of that. And of course, all of her details will be in the show notes with her links and everything so you can click them. But she's going to share with you one last thing. And then she's also going to share where's the best place to connect with her. And then also, if you have anything that you are filling, any offers that you would like to make, all of this.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. My favorite thing to offer people is just the understanding that color communicates to us in ways that words cannot. And so, I love to be able to teach people about the healing energy of color, why we wear certain colors, or why we're attracted to colors, or why we avoid them. You
Mm.
can connect with me on my website at heathereck.com/thank you. And I've got some freebies out there for your listeners that like a color and chakra guide so they can learn more about how our energy centers and colors affect our day-to-day lives. And I mentioned this, I'm working on this membership to help people take a break each month and find healing and balance and release blockages with color and art. And I'd love for you to join me there. You can learn more about that on my website too. I'd love to connect with you on Instagram, and I'm there at Heather Eck Artist as well.
That is so nice. I am just amazed at this and it's just been so refreshing, to be in your energy. And I mean in the art part, it's just for me because I'm not an artist, but I will try anything.
I love it. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't have to show it, share it, or try to sell it. You just got to just make for making sake.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. To me it's like writing, because that's my creative outlet. I love to write. And so I have gotten so much inspiration just recently. And honestly, because I just decided and I set the intention that I was going to be open to receive.
Mm,
Not only that, I set the intention that I wasn't going to get caught up in all of the minutia,
yeah,
all of the stuff. I wasn't going to get caught up. I was like, I set the intention that, I'm open to everything that God has for me.
love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, yeah. So yes. So thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate you. You just don't even know. You have made my day.
You made mine. Thank you so much. It's been so fun chatting with you.
Absolutely. And I knew it would be this way because anytime, like I had one girl, I think we went back and forth rescheduling for about 3 or 4 months. I don't know what it was about. It's like either she had to reschedule or I had to reschedule, and we just 3 or 4 months. And finally, when we had the interview, it was just like what we're doing. It was
Oh,
amazing.
how funny.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I know this. And I'm like, every time it's happened, I had another girl, I had to almost like talk her into it because she was so nervous.
Oh,
And we went back and forth too. And I was like, listen, girl, it's about you. It's not about anybody else. I said, I don't live to ask crazy questions. I said, usually the questions that I ask, you already know them. You-
uh-huh.
And so she's like, oh, and so anyway, same thing. Her interview was fire. And I was
I
like,
love it.
I knew it's going to be that way. So I don't even worry when people say, oh, I need to reschedule. I'm like, girl, reschedule. It's okay. I know
I
life
know,
goes.
right? That's happened a couple times, and each time it's been better because it needed to be in divine timing. And so I never get stressed about that stuff. I'm like, it'll work out. It's great.
So good, so good. So thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. This has been just fire, y'all. So make sure that you connect with Heather wherever she is. She told you Instagram was one of the places that she is. She is also, would you say Facebook? No?
Facebook and my website.
Facebook, her website, and Instagram. You can connect with her. You're also on TikTok too, right now?
Yep. Yeah.
TikTok as well. So any of those spaces, you can find her and connect. Also, the aura paintings, I think that's phenomenal. And so if you have a chance, please try to grab me one of those because I have not had one, but I know that they are phenomenal. Like I can just feel the energy of them just through what she's talking about. So make sure you're doing that. And also make sure that you are liking and sharing and subscribing wherever you're watching or listening to this so that more people, can be aware that we're out here sharing this good news and spreading this good word. So again, thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. Bye now.